Bad Blood is come and gone, and there is no question that it was an incredibly polarizing PLE. Whether you loved it or whether you hated it, there is no question that it drew a massive response from the fans, and at the end of the day, that's really what pro wrestling is all about. But now we turn our attention to Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown of this week, and there is a lot to catch you up on before this insane week of wrestling begins. But as the man of the people I am, I got you covered, so this is everything you need to know after WWE Bad Blood. But before we begin, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn those notifications on, and keep coming back every single day because we upload wrestling videos every single day. Now here's what you need to know. So where do we start? I think we have to start right at the very end of Bad Blood. If you missed it, something massive happened in the parking lot where Triple H felt the need to address it on Twitter, saying, "We are aware of the incident outside of the arena last night between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. The matter will be dealt with internally." And then all of us are kind of like Sancho West right here. All of us feel this way, man. But if you missed it completely, here's what happened. Kevin Owens stepped to Cody Rhodes after the announcement that Cody Rhodes is going to face Gunther for this crown jewel championship in Saudi Arabia. This comes after Cody Rhodes promised Kevin Owens he gets the next shot at his title. Now Cody's going on and doing another side quest after teaming with his biggest arch rival, somebody who Kevin Owens has been fighting against, the Bloodline, for years. Man, this is crazy, but Kevin Owens snapped. He had enough. He was like, yo, talk my talk, and then punch him in the face. He had enough, man. I can't really blame Kevin Owens, honestly. I'm a Cody guy. I got the cardboard cutout back here, but Cody kind of had it coming. A little bit. And I hate to say that.
What the fuck are you doing?
And we all feel that way. That same kid that just shouted out, "Kevin, what the F are you doing?" That's literally how everybody feels. But at the same time, Kevin Owens is a little justified with this. Now, it wasn't like Cody Rhodes was the man who went out there and said, "Hey, I want this match against Gunther." It was more so Triple H just saying, "Hey, this is the match that is going to happen." That's not Cody's fault, but at the same time, he did promise Kevin Owens the championship match, and it doesn't look like Kevin Owens is going to get that opportunity in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, if I was Kevin Owens too, I would be pissed. It makes a lot of sense that KO decided to do this. He took matters into his own hands and he attacked Cody Rhodes. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments about KO turning heel. I wonder if they're going to follow it up on SmackDown, if he's going to be suspended from SmackDown. Who knows? But this is one of the biggest stories going into this week in wrestling. Kevin Owens turning heel on Cody Rhodes. My goodness, crazy that it didn't actually take place in front of a camera. The fact that they had to use fans' cameras to capture this moment, no WWE production to be seen anywhere, is insane. And if this is going to be a step in the reality era, this is going to be things that we see in WWE more often. I am so here for it, man. Monday Night Raw tonight is also the start of the 2-hour episodes. We're going back to 2 hours, the same amount of runtime as Friday Night Smackdown. And this is going to be happening until Monday Night Raw moves to Netflix. The question is, will WWE go back to 3 hours once they go to Netflix, or are they going to stay at 2? We truly don't know, and I do believe that these 2-hour runtimes are a test for Netflix to see, is it successful? Do more people watch it? Are more people hanging around for the whole show? They are going to be looking at their metrics like crazy, and WWE might very well stay at 2 hours. But tonight, October 7th, is the beginning of Monday Night Raw's 2 hours, and it may never go back, which could be crazy. We also have to talk about The Rock returning to WWE at the end of Bad Blood, and it was a really cool visual right here because when The Rock returned, he put up 3 fingers, and then he did a little throat chop, bam, like that, towards Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Cody Rhodes in the ring. It's also interesting to note that when WWE uploaded the video to YouTube, the title originally said that The Rock returns to stare down Roman Reigns, but they changed the title to The Rock returns to stare down everyone. That could have deeper meaning than we think. Maybe, just maybe, we could be building to a triple threat at WrestleMania of The Rock versus Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And if that's the case, that could be one of the biggest main events in WrestleMania history. As Nav says, though, every SmackDown is must-see from here on in all the way until WrestleMania. And I love that The Rock brought this energy back. We are so back, man. But also one of the most intriguing parts coming out of Bad Blood was when the Bloodline went up into the the stands, there was this little tiny tidbit of information that was dropped by Solo Sikoa, or should I say Solo Vanderlyn over here, because this man has a plan. He's always got a plan. So let's hear it right from this. Part of the plan. One more time for those of you that missed it. Part of the plan. Part of the plan. Okay, so is Solo on Team Rocky? Is Rocky behind the Bloodline 2.0? What else is this plan? And again, this is another thing that was captured outside of WWE's actual production. This is a random fan camera who happened to be recording Solo Sikoa at this moment when he says it's all part of the plan. If this is seriously how WWE is going to start adding layers to their stories, I am so here for it. Like the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes feud, brawl, I guess I should say, taking place in the parking lot, and now Solo Sikoa saying this to a fan. There weren't actual WWE cameras on them for this. There weren't microphones picking up these words. This is literally using social media to their advantage, and it's something wrestling fans have been begging for years. People are like, why don't we make use of social media better? Why don't we have the wrestlers cut little promos or give little tidbits of information to their story when there's a camera on them? You know it's going to go viral on Twitter. You know it's something that you can pull from and put into your actual show at a later time. So why not? This is such a smart direction for WWE, and I hope to see a lot more of this. And as previously mentioned, we do have the Crown Jewel Championship on the line in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel on November 2nd. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be around to live stream this event. I do have a wedding. It's my buddy who I've known since I was 6 years old. He's getting married, one of my best friends in this world, and there's not a chance I'm missing it. So I will be missing Crown Jewel, unfortunately, but Cody Rhodes versus Gunther is locked in as long as Gunther does defend the World Heavyweight title tonight, as he is set to face Sami Zayn. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And then we got Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. The Crown Jewel Championship on the line. We don't really understand how it's going to work, if this is just going to be a championship that they win and then it's relinquished right after they win it, or if they hold on to it for a whole year and they have to defend the Crown Jewel Championship every single year. I'm starting to think that Crown Jewel is going to turn into more of what Survivor Series used to be, where it was like a battle of the champions. I think we got the WWE champion and the world champion, along with the women's world champ and the women's WWE champion, fighting each other, obviously, at this show. But throw in the US champion versus IC champion. Throw in the Raw tag team champions versus the SmackDown tag team champions. Why not? It's right there for you. You don't do it at Survivor Series anymore. It makes Crown Jewel feel a little more important. Brings back that bragging rights feel. So I think that's the direction WWE's moving in, and they're just testing it out this year with this Crown Jewel Championship. And this is what the title looks like. The reception online has been very mixed, to say the least. Not a lot of people love it, but also I want to say this. Most people don't tend to like new championships when introduced. It doesn't matter really how they look. There's usually people out there who are going to be negative about this. I will admit this, though. I'm not a fan. I am one of those people right now that is looking at this thing saying, what the fuck am I looking at? I don't mind it. I don't hate it. But, like, it's also not anywhere near one of my favorite championships I've ever seen from WWE. I don't know how else to describe it. There's a lot going on. You can't read the writing on it. The green is okay with it, but hey, let me know your thoughts on this new championship in the comments below. As I'm sure you're aware, Drew McIntyre went to war with CM Punk inside Hell in a Cell in what was one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches in the history of this sport. Drew McIntyre not only pulled his own Stone Cold Steve Austin moment, but he required 16 staples to close up the wound that was on the top of his head. If you didn't know, Drew McIntyre was busted open the hard way. No blades were used for Drew McIntyre, as this man was smacked right in the head with that toolbox that CM Punk broke out in the middle of the match. Smacked him right on the top of the dome. 16 stitches later, that's what led to the Crimson Mask that Drew McIntyre had in this matchup. Insane stuff from Drew McIntyre, and rightfully so. He was not happy at the very end. Here's a little taste of what Drew McIntyre was like after Bad Blood. Fuck off. I mean, I think that describes it perfectly. F off. Drew is not a happy man. But speaking of a man who isn't very happy, Finn Balor doesn't look like he is done with Damian Priest after Bad Blood, even though it seems like Damian is done with Balor. Here's what Balor had to say.
Over, Damian. This ain't over. It's right when you least expect it. I'll be waiting. It's ain't over by a long shot.
So you heard Carlito there just driving that point home. It ain't over by a long shot. Finn Balor is still angry. He's still pissed, and he's still determined to ruin Damian Priest's life. Now, I think I speak for all of us by saying that we're all ready for Damian Priest to move on from the Judgment Day to go on and do other things. I don't know what that looks like for him right now, so you're going to have to let me know down in the comments below what you think is next for Damian Priest, but he should be done with the Judgment Day. He should probably go back around that world title picture, if not doing something else against somebody. Maybe him versus Bronson Reed could be a thing. But Seth Rollins is also involved with Bronson Reed, so who knows how that's going to look. But let me know what you think is next for Damian. It does sound like he is done with the Terror Twins. He said in the press conference after Bad Blood that it looks like he's going to need to do separate things from Rhea. They're in different divisions. They can't fight each other's fights. They're not a tag team, so he's got to focus on himself. Now, I'm a little sad because I do think the Terror Twins are money, but they all unfortunately got caught up in this feud that the fans have sort of soured on between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. And as a result, people grew tired of the Terror Twins. They grew tired of Rhea and Damian fighting against the Judgment Day. To be fair, they fought them a lot. But the fact that the Terror Twins now maybe aren't going to be an on-screen partnership is a little sad to me. They're a great unit that I think WWE could print a lot of money with, but as long as they keep them friends on the show and have them interact with each other from time to time, it should be okay. But it really is an unfortunate missed opportunity here that they didn't grow into a bigger act on the show, because I thought the Terror Twins had so much potential. An unfortunate injury update here with Braun Strowman. It looks like he ripped his groin 2 minutes into that match. A torn groin cannot be fun. That last Monster Standing match, if you remember, Braun Strowman was seen running very slowly towards Bronson Reed when he was going to go crashing into the chairs, and this now explains it. So get healthy, get well soon, Braun Strowman. Very entertaining match. Last Monster Standing was so much fun, but rest up, bro. You deserve it. Now, we do have some great matches lined up for Monday Night Raw this evening. It is going to be a stacked show. Once again, the first 2-hour episode of Monday Night Raw, so it's going to fly by. We got Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship, which has massive implications because if Sami Zayn beats Gunther, we could very well see Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Saudi Arabian Championship, with the World Heavyweight Champion versus the WWE Champion fighting against each other. That could be a thing. And with the whole heel turn from Kevin Owens, makes you wonder, where does Sami Zayn side? It could be a really good story, but that does mean they would have to take the world title from Gunther on a random episode of Raw. And unless Gunther is challenged by Goldberg, I don't see how they take the title off of him. Unless, like, maybe Goldberg costs him the championship, and then maybe it's Goldberg versus Gunther in Saudi Arabia. That could end up happening. You never know. Maybe they do pull the trigger and put the title on Sami Zayn. Maybe Sami Zayn is the kryptonite to Gunther. We'll see. But regardless, this world title match is going down. We also have the Intercontinental Championship match between Jey Uso and Xavier Woods. Obviously, this is playing into the New Day storyline that is going on. Kofi Kingston gifted Xavier Woods this opportunity. Makes me wonder how Kofi Kingston is going to react if Xavier Woods loses this championship match. And then we also have a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Don't Call Him Butch, Pete Dunne. Looking forward to this. A big old bar brawl is always entertaining, and these two are probably going to tear that bar apart. It's going to be a very fun episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm looking forward to it. But I also asked you over on Twitter, what are your thoughts going into Monday Night Raw tonight? And here's what some of you had to say. Phil said, I'm excited to see what Triple H can do with the 2-hour format. We've seen how he transformed the 3-hour product, and I believe he can make the 2-hour show feel just as special. As long as he uses the same creative principles, we're going to be just fine. I'm more interested to see how Triple H does when Netflix comes around. Again, and as I mentioned at the start of the show, it's probably going to be a test for Netflix, honestly. I think Netflix is looking at this very closely and saying, can 2 hours work? Can we get the same amount of profit out of 2 hours as we would 3? Or is it going to be detrimental to the show as a whole? So we'll see what ends up happening there. Matt B says, I feel like Kofi will cost Xavier the IC title match tonight by accident and continue to build up Xavier's heel turn. So that's interesting. That's a very interesting idea, to having Kofi Kingston accidentally cost him this IC title match, but it could also play into that Kofi Kingston meant to cost him the title. There is a lot of options here with who we turn heel with, Xavier or Kofi Kingston. Bad Blood was only good because of the opener and main event. And that's a weird one for me to kind of sit here and say, because that's 2 of the 5 matches. That's almost half the show. And I think that if you get a all-timer in a Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and a very, very good ending with The Rock returning and the whole Bloodline versus Cody and Roman, with Jimmy Uso returning, that is a fire way to bookend your show. The middle of it, I think the wrestling was solid. I know a lot of people have been crapping on it. A lot of people having issues with the matches, saying that Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan wasn't a great worked match and that there was far too many run-ins. But I was thoroughly sports entertained for the entire show. I have no major issues with it. I really did enjoy it. Jake is worried, though, how Raw will balance the crowd with the show being 2 hours. People like the PFC, Karrion Kross, American Made, the Wyatt 6, and other mid-carders feel might not be featured as often, halting any momentum that they had. And I think this is the major reason why a lot of people are nervous for 2 hours tonight. We're curious to see how WWE is going to make the card feel. I do agree with you. People are going to be left off the card. It's an extra hour less every single week. It's going to be difficult to develop the stories that they need to do, and it's why I do believe Raw will move back to being 3 hours, and eventually I bet you Friday Night SmackDown is going to be 3 hours as well. WWE has a formula that has been proven to work with 3 hours, especially under Triple H. I think it's only a matter of time before they move back to it. I'm hoping we'll get the Wyatts' next feud tonight. I know that's obvious of Judgment Day, maybe Final Testament, but I think their next target will potentially be Miz or Woods. Cool idea. I really want to see the Judgment Day versus Wyatt 6. I think that is the natural progression for Finn Balor afterwards. You know, he stabbed Damian Priest in the back. He called himself backstabbing Balor. That is a ready-made feud for the Wyatts, because the Wyatts target people who betray their family. And in many ways, the Judgment Day was family. I'm looking forward to that, and it probably should be the next step for the Wyatts. If it isn't, I don't know what the Wyatts do next. You said the Final Testament, that could work, but that feels like a giant step back for the Wyatts, not moving forward. The Judgment Day is one of those groups on Monday Night Raw that is seriously one of the most over groups on Monday Night Raw. The Wyatts versus the Judgment Day is money, and we need to see it. If you're only going to do 5 matches on the card, then all 5 matches need to be great. You can't argue quality over quantity if all the matches aren't quality. And that is a very fair point, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that the matches were bad. Some of them were good. Some of them were great. I don't think there was a single bad match on Bad Blood, to be perfectly honest. The weakest was Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, in my overall opinion, and even that is a match that I've rewatched and I enjoyed. So you're speaking to the wrong demographic here. I love that WWE is putting focus on its weekly shows like Raw rather than ending every feud on a PLE for the hell of it. Yeah, you know what? And this is literally playing off the idea that there's only 5 matches on a card, maybe 6, maybe 7 at most. This makes Monday Night Raw and SmackDown have better matches. We go back to Friday Night SmackDown last week. We had a triple threat ladder match. This week we have 2 championship matches. There is reasons to watch Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown now. And I go back to when I was a kid, when I wasn't able to watch the PLEs. Anytime there was a massive match, I guess it was pay-per-views back then, anytime that there was a massive match on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, you had to watch, because it was literally the biggest thing going on in WWE for you. You know you can't watch the shows that you have to pay for. You only get the free TV. And if somebody out there was like me as a kid, like if they're watching right now and they don't get to watch PLEs and you only get to watch the weekly show, I feel for you, because it sucks that you don't get to watch the big matches. So when the big matches actually come to the show, it is even bigger. There is a reason why they put good matches on these weekly shows, to get you to watch. And this one could be very interesting right here. Goldberg costs Gunther the world title. Now, if that happens, Goldberg and Gunther not over a championship, I'm here for. I am also still kind of here for Goldberg versus Gunther, which is crazy to say because I'm not a Bill Goldberg fan, but I want to see it. I know a lot of people don't. It could be a train wreck. It could be horrible. It could be one of the worst matches we have seen in years. Yes, that is possible. But it could also be great. If Gunther decimates Goldberg, that could elevate Gunther to a whole new level. I know Goldberg isn't generally seen as the most intimidating man on the roster anymore, but it's still Bill Goldberg. It's still this man who went on a crazy run streak and has a lot of people behind him. If you could put Goldberg versus Gunther in a wrestling ring in 2024 or even 2025, like let's say it happens at the Royal Rumble, my God, if it happens as soon as Crown Jewel because they cost him the world title, oh my God, that is perfect to get Gunther back on track and to really go back after Sami Zayn. Like, can you actually imagine if he loses to Sami tonight because of Goldberg, goes into Crown Jewel, rips Goldberg apart, I should say, and then comes back to Monday Night Raw and then decimates Sami Zayn to get that world title back? Oh man, we have a new champion who has a whole other mean streak behind him. Gunther could be great after beating Goldberg. It could also suck. But that is everything you need to know after Bad Blood and before Monday Night Raw tonight. I will be live on both YouTube and Twitch, live reacting to the entire show. And I'm also introducing a new thing after every single Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and PLEs. It is my review in 3 minutes or less. So if you happen to miss the show, if you happen to not be able to watch the whole thing, I got you covered in 3 minutes or less. It's just a quick little thing for your timeline to catch you up if you were busy. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn those notifications on. Check me out on Patreon. Check me out on Twitter. All that great stuff. And we'll see you tonight for Monday Night Raw. Should be a lot of fun.